Antalya on the Mediterranean coastline is one of Turkey's biggest cities. Even in winter, you can spend a day at the beach here. So it's no wonder that Antalya's real estate market is booming. But the main reason for the weekly price hike is the growing number of Russians who've been coming ever since the war in Ukraine started, looking to buy or rent homes. It's left residents like Musa Yashar and Nermin Taşçı struggling.
In some cases, real estate prices are up by 800 to 900%.
Even civil servants can't afford to live here anymore. I know several who've asked to be transferred because of the high rents.
Yashar and Taşçı created a group on social media called Rent Victims. They're visiting a pensioner who has been served notice by his landlord. He can't afford his rent after a 5-fold increase.
The flat will now go to a foreigner. They have more money to spend in a month than we do in a year.
It's high time for the state to step in. They need to provide social housing so that we low-income families also have a place to live.
They feel the main reason why real estate prices have skyrocketed is the growing number of foreign buyers. Most buyers are Russian, and there are nearly 60,000 Russians currently living in Antalya. According to real estate agents, this has drastically impacted the market.
Apartments that were put on the market for 5,000 liras, or about 250 euros, could suddenly be rented to foreigners for 3 times the price. When neighbors caught on to this, they began demanding the same rents.
The rent activists are feeling increasingly frustrated.
Anyone who comes here should be allowed to live as they please. That's absolutely fine. It's when it's at the expense of our children, our future, that it becomes a problem.
The city's Orthodox parish serves as a meeting place for many Russians. Several of the men here came in case Russia introduces a draft, the Metropolitan Bishop tells us. Others came to Turkey because of the international sanctions against their country. David Tsarev already came to Antalya before the war broke out. For him, the church choir offers a connection to home. He says it has become increasingly difficult to gain a foothold in Antalya, even for Russians.
Especially in the first weeks, it's hard to find an apartment or even a job. People ask me for advice all the time, but unfortunately, I'm not always able to help. You have to own a business or real estate.
Tsarev is an IT specialist. He likes sitting on the Turkish Riviera, working away on his laptop. But he's aware that although he can afford a rent upwards of 500 euros, many Turkish people are being left behind.
We follow the requirements made by Turkish authorities and otherwise let the market guide us when looking for housing. You can't blame us for the economic and social consequences of that system.
But in Musa Yashar's eyes, there is blame to go around when it comes to the housing crisis, and some lies with politicians. He wants to confront the head of the inner city district where most Russians have settled.
In the past, foreigners used to come here on vacation. They'd book 1 or 2 week package holidays. They didn't buy houses and settle here.
If the percentage of foreign tenants or homeowners in a district exceeds 20%, the real estate market is closed to foreigners. 3 districts here in Antalya already have such a ban in place since last July.
Can you at least help affected citizens like me to find an apartment?
Well, that's not my job. That's up to the agents.
When Yashar picks his daughter up from school, he still doesn't have a new apartment to tell her about. He puts on a brave face, but his despair is growing. The rising rents in Antalya may soon force residents like Musa Yashar to leave their hometown.
Adem abi görüyor musun?